Well, the video for Love Etc. has really come out of the production we're doing for the Brit Awards, because we're working with Ez Devlin again, and she uses these video people called 1.0, and one of their people is Hudebrugger from Holland, and the treatment really is it's animation, and it's sort of based on some sort of primitive video game, and you can sort of go to different levels and things, but I think the inspiration for it was the sort of synth electronic riff sound, which sounds almost like it could be from one of those early 80s video games.
I think that and the bounciness of the track, that's why Chris and I appear as, what do you call those bouncing?
Space hoppers.
Space hoppers, yeah. It's very space opera. I don't think albums have to contrast just for the sake of it, but I think it is important that each album has its own identity, and I think all of our albums do have a strong identity, right from the first album to this one. This is our 10th album, amazingly, and I think they all do have a... This has got a very different identity from the last album, Fundamental. Fundamental was conceived almost as a sort of song cycle, with a beginning, a middle and an end. This album is a collection of pop songs. Funnily enough, there are much weirder things on this album than there were on Fundamental. Like the song Building a Wall, which is really quite an experimental song. King of Rome, which is again a very beautiful song. The final song, Legacy, which I think is a bit opaque for a lot of people, but I think it's very beautiful. And then contrasting that, you've got like Did You See Me Coming, which is sort of hyper pop. Vulnerable, which sounds like it could have been written by whoever wrote Voyage Voyage, another record in the 80s, which was always obsessed us, and it has a very vulnerable kind of melody. The title for the album, when we did Fundamental, we had the title Fundamental right at the beginning. But yes, it seemed so positive. We were thinking of our sentences, you know, like Pet Shop Boys Please, fame. Have you got the Pet Shop Boys Please, you know, that kind of thing. And this one is, you know, have you got the new Pet Shop Boys album? Yes, Pet Shop Boys. I don't know. It's sort of funny. Really, it came from Yoko Ono. It came from Yoko Ono's famous artwork, 1967, where John Lennon walked up the stepladders, got the magnifying glass, read the little thing, and it said yes. And he thought, oh, well, that's positive. And then the rest is history, you know. And then our designers, Farrow, came up with a very simple idea of the tick, you know. Yes, tick, which is very graphic. In the single Love Etc., in the second verse, it mentions the German artist Gerhard Richter, who's one of the greatest living artists of our time. Originally it was Andy Warhol, the Andy Warhol hanging on your wall, so it was almost a sort of rhyme. And then we thought Andy Warhol was a bit corny, and so I sang Gerhard Richter. Now I thought Brian would hate that because it sounds a bit pretentious to me, and he loved it. And also it sings really well, the Gerhard Richter. Consequently, the graphic style of the album is in fact slightly influenced by Gerhard Richter. Every year at the Brits Awards, they give an award for outstanding contribution. And when you've been around for a certain length of time, the record company occasionally mention it to you. And I think we never thought we would get it, really, because, you know, we didn't think the music industry would regard us as significant enough. And